Okay, so borderline personality disorder is what I'm gonna explain or introduce how I memorize. So, okay, so this is impulsive, okay? So I stands for impulsive at least two areas or situations. So either spending money or excessively or doing sex that is unprotected or with like a lot of people that they are not sure about whether they have possible sex related disease like HIV or substance abuse or reckless driving or binge eating. But this situation or these areas are excluding suicidal behavior or gesture because it has its own symptom here. So we are not included in the impulsive. And moodiness mark the reactivity of mood. So in the diagnostic criteria, this one is gonna be affective instability due to marked reactivity of mood. So it's basically when for example a person who has this borderline personality disorder experiencing intense episodic dysphoria or irritability or anxiety. Dysphoria is basically feeling sad. So if you remember permanent depressive disorder, that is the dysphoria. Okay, so it's usually lasting for hours or only rarely more than a few days. So it very rarely goes longer than a few days, but it's usually lasting for a few hours. That's why it has this moodiness is very it has marked reactivity and it's unstable. Paranoia or dissociation under stress. This is similar to the paranoid personality disorder, but maybe the thoughts that this person, individual who are experiencing borderline personality disorder might be different. For example, a patient, let's say Jenny. Jenny is suffering from borderline personality disorder and she might be having really stressful days for like it's been 3 days that she has been under stress, she couldn't sleep, and she might be thinking I am very unlovable, like nobody could ever really love me truly. So now she's thinking of her husband. Then Michael, how could Michael could love me? Like how could he love me if I am not lovable? So he might be cheating on me because there's no way that anybody can love me. Okay? So if we go to the unstable self-image, unstable self-image is like at, for example, Jenny thinking at one day have negative self-image, but the next day she think positive self-image. And labile intense relationships, I hope this is how you pronounce it. So labile intense relationship is, it's basically it's fluctuation between idealizing and devaluing. For example, so Jenny, who is suffering from borderline personality disorder, saying to the Michael, you're the one who is going to save me from myself, or you're the true love that I was looking for. You're the one. Now I can finally be truly happy because of you without feeling emptiness. Borderline personality disorder, like people who has this disorder, they have a chronic feeling of emptiness. Okay, so they want to be out of it, and she think Michael is doing that. But when she is devaluing Michael, right? She's telling to Michael that you are the worst person in the world. I know you are the bad news from the start because nobody could be that perfect. And I am so unlovable. So I feel highly suspicious that you are truly loving me. So there is an instability of self-image and their like self-image, and this is also shown in labile intense relationships. Okay? And there is a societal gestures or behavior. This is also pretty much relates to other symptoms because they have such an unstable self-image and they have very labile intense relationship which is also unstable, that might trigger them to have anxiety or other problems that might they want to do suicidal gesture or behavior. It's how I link them together so I can memorize that more easily. I hope it helps. And inappropriate anger. So for example, when Jenny and Michael they fought and I was there by accident and I was there from the beginning, and I still don't understand why Jenny is angry for what Michael said, because her anger was such out of a context. It was inappropriate anger. So the level of anger seems to be a bit more intense than is warranted by the situation or the context. So it's a bit out of the context. And vulnerability to abandonment. For example, Jenny, okay, I feel sorry for Jenny, but Jenny, who is suffering from borderline personality disorder, she got divorced from Michael. So they are no longer together. They got divorced. And Michael and Jenny, they decided this will never gonna work out and we are end forever, like permanently ended. Okay? And after 2 years, Jenny met John. It's her new love interest. Okay? And finally, John asked her out for a date, and Jenny declines. And the reason that she declines, or she thinks that she's declining him because she says like you could never be as good as Michael as him, who actually permanently left Jenny. And she's like telling herself, my husband understands me as no one else can, her ex-husband. Okay? But what she actually might be thinking is, which is linked to the vulnerability to abandonment, is that I cannot resist the pain of rejection from this new love interest. So I rather hold on to the fantasy that Michael is gonna come back rather than loving him. Or because they have imagined abandonment that fears Jenny so much. Okay? So she decides to rather end this new love of interest because she cannot resist the vulnerability to abandonment. And E is a straightforward, which is emptiness, feeling of emptiness. Okay? But if you're not sure, please do not hesitate to Google to find out what it looks like or what it like, okay? To have a feeling of emptiness. Good luck with your study, and I hope everything goes well.